The Man on the Middle Cross by Alistair Begg. It all started as a bit of fun, a DNA test. If she was honest, she was hoping it would help her understand herself better, help her feel connected to something bigger, fill a space she couldn't quite define. She'd always been curious about her ancestry, wondering whether those family rumors about a distant Italian relative were true. Perhaps knowing more about where she came from would help fill the nagging sense that something was missing. She didn't send it off straight away. She kept putting it off, saying she wasn't sure about it all. But one day she decided she had nothing to lose. She was even quite excited to find out. But when the results arrived, the excitement gave way to something else. First confusion, then disbelief, then to something deeper. Something shifting and unsteady, something she couldn't quite describe. Her father wasn't her father. The reality settled like a stone in her chest. She double checked the results, searched online for explanations, scoured the paperwork, but there was no mistake. The evidence was there in black and white. She thought back over her childhood, replaying conversations, family holidays, Christmas dinners. Had she missed something? Had everyone else known? The questions churned inside her, but she told no one. Certainly not her mother, not her sister, or her daughter, or even her closest friend. What did it all mean? She carried the secret alone, like an invisible wound. Some days it barely stung. Other days it ached so deeply she could hardly breathe. She felt so alone, so disconnected, and even further from the sense of wholeness she had longed for. She wasn't the first to search for something more. Centuries before, around AD 30, another woman had felt those same longings. Most people were at home, sheltering from the sweltering Middle Eastern heat, but just outside the village, a Jewish man stopped to rest near the ancient stone well. His robes were dusty and his feet sore from the long journey. A woman came up from the village carrying a heavy water jar. A man, a woman. "Could I have some water, please?" the man asked. "It doesn't seem a big deal to us, but back then, in that part of the world, this was huge. It was not uncommon for certain men in those days to say a prayer that went something like this: God, I'm glad you didn't make me a woman." And that's strike number one. A man was engaging in conversation with a woman. And here comes strike number two. She was a Samaritan woman. When I was young, I'd often hear about the troubles in Northern Ireland where Protestants and Catholics were shooting and blowing up each other. That's how much the Jews and the Samaritans hated each other. There was deep suspicion and huge animosity, and yet Jesus, a Jewish man, spoke to this Samaritan woman. "Could I have some water, please?" Let's just notice something about this woman. It was the middle of the day and it would have been sweltering hot. Most of the women would collect water early in the morning or late at night when it was cool. But this woman was at the well when no one else was around, a bit like shopping at the late night store right before closing time or picking up medication at a pharmacy way past bedtime. It's safe to assume that she didn't want to talk to anyone, that she didn't want to be judged. She had no idea that the man she was about to meet was the one person who had the authority to judge her, yet he was also the most loving person she would ever know. This Jewish man, Jesus of Nazareth, knew her hidden sadnesses and longings. He saw beyond her past and her mistakes, and instead of condemnation, he would offer her the kind of love and grace she had ever known. He opens the conversation. "Could I have some water, please?" Have you ever wondered what it would be like if Jesus sat down beside you and had a conversation with you? What would he say? Do you think he would start quoting big sections of the Bible? "Thou shalt not do this, thou shalt not do that, thou shalt not No, he just asked for a cup of water, and that simple request is an immediate impact. It has an immediate impact on her. Straight away, she replies, "That's really weird. You're a Jew and I'm a Samaritan." Jesus knew that, of course. If you find that surprising, he says, "Wait until you hear what else I've got to tell you." She assumes that she can do something for him. After all, he wants a drink of water and she has a water jar. But in fact, she's the one who needs something from him. The conversation takes an unexpected turn. "If you knew who was talking to you," he says, "you would have asked him and he would have given you living water." She's surprised he hasn't got a water jar and the well is deep. What is he on? What is he about? What is this living water he's talking about? "Listen," Jesus says, "everyone who drinks this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks the water I give them will never thirst again. This living water is not going to come from a well. Still waters run deep." Jesus is speaking about something far deeper. He knows her longing for truth and lasting fulfillment. She doesn't get the point at all. "Well, that sounds good. Give me some of this living water. Then I won't get thirsty and have to keep coming back here to draw more water from the well." She's still thinking about physical water. Jesus knows that she needs to confront her real needs. Carefully, he points to her need for personal forgiveness and for salvation. A true encounter with God and real transformation always begin here. And with kindness and love, Jesus gently puts his finger on the area of her life that needs to change, and he addresses her conscience. "Why don't you go and call your husband?" "I don't have a husband," she mutters. Here comes the next strike, perhaps the biggest of them all. We find out that the woman has already had 5 different husbands. She's now living with another man, and they aren't even married. Again, remember the times. That just wasn't done back then. We don't know whether her past was shaped by misfortune, mistreatment, or her own choices, but whatever the reason, it seems to have left her isolated, avoiding the gaze of others. It was probably no coincidence that she went to the well in the middle of the day when she thought no one else would be around. So that's strike number 3. How will this religious teacher react to a woman like this? Jesus doesn't point out how she's failed to love God, how she's broken all the commandments, or what a mess she's made of everything. Instead, he reaches out to her, and his message is this: "I know you. I know the longings of your heart. I'm full of love and compassion. Just come to me. You don't have to go through your crime sheet. You don't have to rehearse all that stuff. I know." The woman looks at Jesus in astonishment. "Well, I can see that you're a prophet," she says. That's that psychic back in the day, too. That's what they call them. And she launches into a discussion about where she ought to worship. Should she go to the Samaritan's place of worship or to the Jewish temple in Jerusalem? It seems rather obscure to us now, but Jesus responds with a vital truth. He tells her that worshiping isn't about going to a particular place. This church or that temple is nothing to do with place. It's about a person. It's about that person's heart. I was always looking for something to satisfy me, constantly searching, but there was always something missing. I used to be so thirsty, but the man by the well quenched my thirst. What about your story? Have you got painful secrets, hidden sadnesses, unfulfilled dreams, deep hurts too heavy to carry? Jesus comes looking for each one of us, not to condemn us, but to offer us living water, the fulfillment that each of us longs for. If we turn to him, we too can say, "The man by the well quenched my thirst." Take a moment to read the story as told by John, one of Jesus' disciples, or if you prefer, watch a dramatized version online. Jesus left Judea and departed again for Galilee, and he had to pass through Samaria. So he came to a town of Samaria called Sychar. Okay. Near the field that Jacob had given to his son Joseph. Jacob's well was there, so Jesus, wearied as he was from his journey was sitting beside the well. It was about the 6th hour. A woman from Samaria came to draw water. Jesus said to her, "Give me a drink," for his disciples had gone away into the city to buy food. The Samaritan woman said to him, "How is it that you, a Jew, ask for a drink from me, a woman of Samaria? For Jews have no dealings with Samaritans." Jesus answered her, "If you knew the gift of God and who it is that is saying to you, 'Give me a drink,' you would have asked him, and he would have given you living water." The woman said to him, "Sir, you have nothing to draw water with, and the well is deep. Where do you get that living water? Are you greater than our father Jacob? He gave us the well and drank from it himself, as did his sons and his livestock." Jesus said to her, "Everyone who drinks of this water will be thirsty again, but whoever drinks of the water that I will give him will never be thirsty again. The water that I will give him will become in him a spring of water welling up to eternal life."